Hello, I'm Matthew McCullough with GitHub. In our ever deeper look at Git, let's look at a few of the highlights to why people are so attracted to this version control system implementation, as well as what keeps them there and enjoying what could otherwise be a mundane task. First, Git is focused on content. The importance of this is that it's a level of precision deeper than a traditional version control system, which only looks at file level precision. Git can actually follow the move of source code from one file to another over a period of time. Second, Git's idea of the staging area means that you elect which files you want to participate in the next commit. Rather than accidentally committing something that you didn't intend to, you must explicitly ask for which things should participate in the next commit historical action. Third, the idea of Git being open is one that is supported by the core tool as well as the surrounding services. The idea is to let people make contributions, or I should say more precisely, offer contributions to projects, and then to have a controlled and review type of process in which to bring those in. This applies to both open source projects and to closed internal commercial software. The process works well for both. Next, we'll talk about the idea of it being distributed. Of course, we've said this many times, but Git is extremely efficient with its network transfers, therefore making it very, very simple and pleasant to send large quantities of changes across continents, across disparate offices, and even over slow bandwidth lines. Exchanges of code actually become conversations. This is once again supported by some of the web services that surround Git, such as GitHub. You can carry on an analog conversation about bringing a bit of code into a code base. Analog in contrast to binary. Not an outright rejection if things aren't quite right, but rather a request for small improvements and tunings to make them acceptable to the overall code base. When we focus on the people and not the tools become a lot less visible. Some don't like that. In the case of Git, it's fantastic if that happens. Make Git the smallest, lightest, most background piece that you possibly can and focus on what the objective is. Writing good documents, software, or building some good user interface, not working with the version control system. The only way that's possible is when it operates very quickly and requires only minimal interaction. When we discuss version control, we're often priming people's minds for the idea of storing a snapshot of the changes at the end of the day, some sort of backup in case our laptop melts down or the hard drive stops working. But with Git, the simplicity and the speed of making those commits means that our version control history looks much more like a journal of the changes that we were trying to make to the source code or to the project, rather than just one big blob of changes at the end of the day. When reviewing those historical changes, this precision, this inter-day set of activities and appropriate commit messages that go along with the source code is extremely helpful for getting context of why changes were made and who made them. An aspect of Git that's often put at the front of a list rather than at the back is that Git works entirely offline. Commits, branches, merges, rebases, resetting history, even searching through those historical events, all happens in an offline mode. The exchange of those changes, push and pull being the commands that we use to execute those, are a minimal set of the overall Git vocabulary. Its objective is to keep as many things local as possible and to occasionally have you exchange those over some sort of connectivity. That's a quick set of highlights for why I and some of my colleagues have really enjoyed switching to the Git version control system. You'll find that many of those items are in modest or significant contrast to the version control systems that you've used in the past. Thanks again for listening to the benefits of Git.